All right. So, hi everyone. Good evening. My name is Niharika Ghadge, and I welcome you to a new session as a part of YLCC's Legal Career-A-Thon series. Today we have with us Mr. Tariq Khan, sir. Welcome, sir, and thank you so much for joining. Sir is here to guide us on career as an arbitration lawyer. Sir is practicing in the Delhi High Court as well as the Supreme Court and has a significant experience in domestic and international arbitration. He's also working as a registrar of the International Arbitration and Mediation Centre, Hyderabad. And along with this, he's also a professor at the Nalsar University of Law. So if time permits, we shall have the audience's questions at the end of the session. So I request the audience members to pin down their questions in the chat box. And I also request everyone to mute themselves so there is no disturbance during the session. So would you like to say anything to the audience before we delve into the session?
No, I just want to say that thank you very much. On Saturday evening, I know it's difficult to join, and it's a great initiative. And I'm sure people are not very fond of webinars anymore, but good to see that, almost 30 people have turned up. So thank you very much. And thank you, Niharika, for the opportunity.
All right, sir. So diving into the session now. So, sir, what does career in disputes and commercial arbitration look like? Like a very basic question.
So I think now for law students, because arbitration and mediation, they are now the preferred mode of dispute resolution. And with so many developments happening in the country, the new mediation law is going to come up. And we are seeing a lot of people now shifting the mindset, including corporates and commercial entities. What they've realized is that the potential of mediation is, in resolving disputes cannot be underestimated. So now they are opting for mediation. And arbitration, we know in the past few years, especially after the 2015 amendment, has grown like anything. Now it is unfair to call it an alternative dispute resolution. We should start calling it appropriate dispute resolution or preferred mode of dispute resolution, or maybe, primary mode of dispute resolution when it comes to corporate disputes. So for law students who are young, I think it's a great market in times to come, because if you start right now and start building your profile as a mediator or as an arbitrator, you have a bright future, very, very bright future, because being a traditional lawyer, conventional lawyering is a thing of the past. What I've seen in the new times is that the international nature of arbitration will take you places. And because of various advantages that it has over litigation, like, 1.5 years, you are able to resolve the disputes. And the fact that there is neutrality, party autonomy, these are few reasons why parties are also now preferring arbitration for resolving disputes. So for anybody who wants to flourish in the legal career, and law firms also have separate departments of dispute resolution teams, dedicated teams which are only doing arbitrations or mediation. So I think that the future is bright, but only because future of litigation is not. I'm quoting Mr. Fali Nariman, these are not my words. So yeah.
Right. So, sir, what other subjects along with arbitration should students prepare if they are aiming at a career in disputes and in arbitration?
Very importantly, I think the most important thing in arbitration is contract law. I think you need to be an expert in the contracts because every arbitration will revolve around contractual dispute. Even an arbitrator is nothing but a creature of an agreement between two parties. So I think the knowledge of contracts, then interpretation of clauses, then knowledge about damages is very, very essential. In times to come, what we are going to witness, my young friends, technology, for example, is going to play a great role in dispute resolution. So I think that will be an added advantage. Apart from technology, I think specific fields of arbitration like sports arbitration, maritime arbitration, construction arbitration, I think these are certain fields which you can delve into if you want to, have some kind of specialization in arbitration. So I think that will really take you a long way, because now calling yourself just like a generic arbitration lawyer, I think it's not enough. You will need to create a separate identity. Say, I'm a construction dispute lawyer. I'm a tech arbitration lawyer. I am, a sports arbitration lawyer. I think that will take you a long way and help you create an identity in the market internationally as well as domestic.
Right. Moving on to the next question. So, sir, what are the teams one can intern in? Since some firms have their commercial litigation team, which handles arbitration. Some other firms have their projects team, which handle the construction arbitration work. So, in case when there are no vacancies in the core disputes team, what other teams can the students apply in?
See, I'll be very honest. The big firms that you look at, you really can't be choosers, and they will keep shifting you from one team to another. Maybe 6 months you'll be working with a disputes partner. Maybe they want you to be, doing something else. Or maybe you will not get to, do the proper part of the job, like drafting. You will just get to do the research work, compiling papers, doing a com view of documents. So it's a choice completely what you're looking at. I can tell you with my experience what I realized. I mean, I got into arbitration not because I was interested, frankly. I think arbitration chose me. By the only job that I got was at Vani & Company, which was doing arbitrations day and night. So if you work with a lawyer or a law firm which is actively doing arbitration, a boutique firm is, I think, a better place to work at because the team is small and layers of approval are not required. And you will be in a position to play an active role in every matter. You'll get more work. You'll have a say because it's a small team. You'll be involved in everything. And maybe sometimes because of the unavailability of the senior, maybe you get to, do an examination in chief or start a cross-examination, appear in a Section 11 arbitration in court. So, lawyers who are doing arbitration or doing commercial practice are, I think, in the initial years, you should find a senior rather than a firm with whom you want to work and who will help you grow in the career. I think learning should be the criteria initially, not earning. But I know no matter what I tell people, they will still focus on the latter, not the former.
Right. Sir, in what year of law school should one start concentrating on their niche and then start interning accordingly?
See, I think that for law students, it's unfair of me to tell them that, from first year you should know, because even, when I was a law student and I've interacted with a lot of law students, in the first 5 years of your career, it's not easy to make a choice. I mean, one can simply tell you, you should be dedicated, tailor your CV accordingly. I mean, there are people who have second generation, third generation lawyers. Maybe they are in a position to make a choice easily because they've been seeing this at home. But most of people like me who are first generation lawyers may not have that guidance and they really want to explore. So I think in the initial first 2 years, if it's a BA, LLB, so BA means, I think, BA subjects are in the first 2 years. So I think that's when you can experiment. You can do moot courts, you can do internships, you can write paper, you can read a little bit. And you can see in 2 years, by experimenting, by doing 4 or 5 internships, what is it that I like quite a lot. In my case, for example, I was very fascinated by Mr. Ram Jethmalani, and I wanted to be his intern. So, I did criminal law internships and I used to find it very fascinating. But then it just did not interest me that much. And when I started doing arbitration, eventually I did think that, this is what I have to do because I'm enjoying it. So explore until you get what you want. So the idea is to winnow down and, separate the chaff from the grain. And I know it's not easy. Maybe till final year, you'll be confused, just like many of us. But I think it's absolutely normal. It is absolutely okay to feel nervous and confused, and let things take their natural course and let destiny also make some choices for you. But do your best, and hard work is the only thing that you need. The only thing. It can be talent, it can be luck, it can be first generation, second generation, it can beat everything. So as long as you're willing to work hard in the profession, you are sorted. You're good to go.
Right. Since arbitration is a perfect overlap between litigation and corporate, what would you suggest as an ideal roadmap for the students to go about their career in disputes? And like, what kind of internships should one go for if they want a career in this particular area?
So, okay, the day you decided that, okay, this is what I want to do, I want to be an arbitration lawyer or I want to be a disputes lawyer, I think the easiest thing to do in law school is, because there's not much you can do in law schools. Number one, I would say that internships will play a crucial role, because internships will increase your chance of getting absorbed in law firms. So for example, I used to hire people who were my interns, because in 1 month's time, you can either, make an impression or you can just disappoint someone. So that's your best chance to actually make a mark on the firm and show you are a team player and you know your stuff, you're willing to work hard. And initially, nobody really expects you to know everything. We just want people who are, we know you are a raw material. As long as you're willing to work and put in your 200%, I think you can fit in any team. So internships, definitely you should do, but with who? Internships you should be doing with lawyers who are doing a lot of arbitrations, who have a lot of court applications of arbitration like Section 9, 11, 34, 37, 36. These are the things you have to look at. Number two is moot courts. A lot of moot courts now are dedicated to arbitration. For example, FDI moot, I think, Viz Vienna, and there are many more. Like National Nalsar is doing a mediation tournament. Odisha is doing, for example, maritime moot. Every firm, every law school is now doing competitions on disputes. As you can see, the recent trend, we don't do moot courts anymore, the boring ones. We are entering into, I myself have collaborated with a lot of institutions, but I think your interest will develop when you work in these moot courts for 3 months, 4 months, appear and see how you like it, research part. Third thing you can do is writing by publishing your articles in those journals, which are disputes journals in different colleges. Or maybe you can consider writing in Live Law, SCC, Bar and Bench. That's another thing. Kluwer, Oxford, international journals also. Writing will actually highlight you and give you a great advantage and visibility as a student as well. Another thing that you can do, obviously, is you can assist somebody in writing a book, or you can start reading judgments. I think the best way to learn a subject is by reading judgments. I think that will change you completely and will give you so much clarity, which will help take you a long way. So these are a couple of things you can do in law school, which will eventually make your CV also tailored like that. When somebody will see after 5 years, okay, let me have a look at this gentleman or this lady. They will see that your internships are with lawyers who are doing arbitration, and your articles also have been written on subjects which are pertaining to dispute resolution, plus your moot courts. So they will know that, okay, this person was sorted and clear. Most important is networking, knowing people. So if a conference is happening in your city on arbitration, do not miss it, because that's where you actually start getting visibility and you start meeting people of your interest. And that will open a lot of avenues for you. So seminars, conferences should also be arbitration related. So I think all in all, you have to eat, sleep, drink arbitration day and night. So you'll be able to, make an impact and, make yourself look like an arbitration practitioner and passionate. I think the right word would be not a practitioner, arbitration enthusiast, so that people are able to gauge and, understand, okay, this is my guy or my girl who I want in my team.
Right. So what other career options are available in this field, since it is one of the most in-demand areas like the M&A or the Gen Corps, which the students usually opt for?
In dispute resolution, are you asking me specifically about dispute resolution?
Yes.
So, okay, in dispute resolution, like I said, one is transaction teams. A lot of people, when entering into contracts, you have to draft arbitration clauses, etc. That's one way you can look at. The other is academics, obviously. Like I'm an academician myself. Third is writing. You can get into writing, think tank with government. Also, you can work. You can work as a general counsel, where you will again be doing arbitrations, and you need to have a proper knowledge of doing arbitrations, because in corporate world, most of the contracts have these arbitration clauses. But in law firm, if you talk about, I think, being a dispute resolution lawyer will definitely help you in the court team also, because a lot of applications are emanating from there. So, you'll be also going to court. It's not that you'll be just attending arbitrations. And in arbitration, I think there's a lot more scope now. Like I said, sports arbitration, department firms which are only doing maritime arbitration. I mean, lawyer. There are law firms which are doing BITs, bilateral investment treaties, arbitration, investor-state disputes. So in arbitration also, there are firms which call them construction law firms, construction law dispute. So, different firms are there. So it completely depends on what you're looking at and what is your expertise. And you will have various options to explore and so much to do with as a dispute resolution practitioner. I mean, I hope I've answered your question. If I didn't.
Right. Yes. So if someone is interested in disputes and is not finding the right opportunities, would you suggest them to start over their career in litigation or on the corporate side? So what would be more helpful for them in the longer run?
Yeah, honestly telling you that if someone says I'm not getting opportunities, see, opportunities are not going to come to your home. Opportunities are not going to come to your inbox. If you are not, either you're not applying properly, or your CV is not looking proper, or your emails are casual, or these are just forwarded emails, you are making some mistake. Believe me, as a law student, I also used to say things like, uh, that because I'm not from a national school, there is a lot of bias, etc., etc. I used to say this. I'm equally guilty of saying things like that. But I think if you are doing a good job, if you're properly applying, you're getting to know people, networking, I think you will get an opportunity. There's so many opportunities. People reach out to me asking for interns and juniors, and there are none. They're not finding. So either everybody is applying only to the top law firms. So your mindset has to change. There are so many independent lawyers who are doing arbitrations and they don't get interns. They keep asking me to, suggest interns. So I will never agree with you if you say there are no opportunities. Opportunities are always there. Either there is a lack of guidance or you are making some mistake. Don't have that attitude that there are no, because if you want to do dispute resolution, why should I tell you to do anything else? There's no reason for you. And even if you don't get an opportunity in internship, then, you start writing your own articles, you write your own book, you assist somebody in a book. At the end of the day, it's the learning which matters, not internship only. Do moot courts, do MEDAP competitions, become a mediator. There's so much you can do. I mean, why do I have to even, and look for opportunities in different cities, different country. World is so big, right? And now you have an option of virtual internships also. So internship is not the end of the day. So many people I know who were having internships. 5 years they worked with all top law firms, but never, got a job. For 3 years they were jobless. Internships won't guarantee you a job. It's the learning which matters, not. So yeah, I mean that's about it.
Right. So because of the new government's emphasis on the PPP projects, we have a lot of disputes coming to the smaller towns as well. So do you encourage the students to explore locally first and then going to the metro cities, or vice versa?
I don't agree with all of this. I think wherever you're getting an opportunity, go for it. But the insipid attitude of some people is that they only think that life can only be, amazing in Delhi or Bombay. I think that mindset has to change. It's become so saturated. Every lawyer after graduating wants to go to Delhi or Bombay. I mean, I don't understand. There are so many opportunities in Bangalore, Hyderabad, other places. If you're getting a good opportunity anywhere, go there, whether it's locally, internationally, nationally. Ultimately, it is something which should help you learn. Learning is what you should look at and nothing else.
So, sir, your expertise lies in domestic and international arbitration, along with commercial disputes and insolvency and bankruptcy. So, how has this diversity helped you in your professional growth? And is it necessary for the younger generation to know everything from the beginning?
See, in law, you cannot know everything. And though my book says everything you need to know about arbitration, but I'm sure nobody knows everything. And I think what you can do is, it's only like, as a lawyer, as a young lawyer, you have to be open to everything. Any kind of matter that is coming, you can't be picky and choosy. No, I will only do arbitrations. I will only do civil matters. If a bail used to come, I used to do it. 138 matters also I've done. It actually helps you in learning other domains. And, you need to be doing a lot of matters, a lot of variety. It will help you in the longer run. But, you need to be an expert or develop a niche in one particular subject. So you may call me an arbitration lawyer, but that doesn't mean that I don't do criminal matters or I don't do civil matters. Insolvency, yes, because it was a new field. And I think it's very important for us young lawyers to adapt to the needs of the market. What I realized was, see, company law was something I was always finding very intimidating and daunting. It was not my subject. I'm no CA, I'm no CS. I was never a good student of company law. But when I realized that the market is shifting, insolvency is having a lot of scope, I had to mold myself. So you have to be adjusting and flexible according to the needs of the market. Tomorrow, if there is no arbitration happening, maybe I'll have to find another alternative. I can't just be rigid and say, no, I will only do arbitration, even though there is no work. So I think that's something you have to meet the needs of the market and you have to be flexible.
Right. So to a great extent, we have already been able to cover a lot of commonly asked questions. So if, sir, if you're up for it, can we like take a couple questions from the audience section?
Of course, only if they want to hear me more. I'm sure they're already bored. But if they want to ask anything, I'll be happy to answer.
Does anyone want to like unmute, or I can read up the questions in the chat box? Okay, we have a question. How does IPR and arbitration go together?
See, the only thing is there was a lack of, I mean, let's just understand this arbitrability of disputes. Not every dispute is arbitrable. If there is a special forum or special statute for a particular kind of disputes, like RERA is there for real estate matters, then for IPR, you have those trademark, you have registrar, etc. Those issues obviously cannot be arbitrable. But there are few disputes as long as you are looking at damages and it's a contractual dispute. And the ultimate relief you are seeking is relating to, for example, I'll tell you an arbitration we did where there was an issue of infringement of some designs and a clause of confidentiality was breached. So the ultimate relief which the party was seeking is damages. So as long as the dispute is such which is not going into the technicalities of IPR and you are simply seeking the damages on account of the breach of contract, it is arbitrable. So yeah, there's a lot of scope that way. I hope I'm clear on that.
Right.
Yeah. Why are they not unmuting themselves? Why are they making you read?
Right. There are so many direct messages. So if we, sir actually is encouraging people to unmute themselves, or I can always read them out.
If you can't ask questions, I'm telling you, this profession needs you to be very confident and to speak up. Whenever there's an opportunity, you should speak up.
Hi, Niharika. Can I ask a question?
Please.
Okay. Hi, sir. Good evening. I'm Hamza from final year GLC. So I wanted to ask, a lot of people do LLM and arbitration from Queen's and other top universities. I wanted to know how would an LLM help, I mean, at the starting phase of your career?
See, yesterday only somebody who's in QMUL, for example, you mentioned Queen's. So I'm telling you, she was mentioning that, I'm doing this. I said, look, you're doing an LLM, don't expect that, it is guaranteeing you a job. People have this misconception, oh, if I have a foreign degree, I'll have a job. That's a misconception. Don't do it for a job. And if you want to broaden your horizons, yes, it will help. But my suggestion would always be to do it when you know what you want to do. So work for a year or two, see if this is what you want to practice, and then do a master's once you are sure, okay, this is what I'm going to do all my life. Like for someone like me now, if I do a master's, it makes sense. I know I want to practice in arbitration. If I would have done it like right after law school, I would have probably done it in criminal law because I've told you my inclination was in criminal law. And then the degree would have been a waste paper. I would be doing arbitrations today. So think about it. Any other questions? Thanks, Hamza.
Okay, I can read up the questions. How to take up a career?
One second. I think we should only take questions of people who are willing to speak. Karthik is raising hand.
Good evening, sir. I'm Karthik, fourth year student from VIT Chennai. So, how to take up a career as a practicing advocate and an arbitrator in hand to hand, sir?
As an arbitrator and as a practitioner, is that what you asked?
Yes, sir. As a practicing advocate and an arbitrator.
Great question. So a lot of times people have this misconception that if they're doing arbitrations, they will not be going to court. But most of the people that I know, they are practicing as a lawyer, including myself. Full day I was in court. Right after the court or on weekends, we were doing full-time arbitrations. And if you do an arbitration, you're also going to court for various things. As a practicing lawyer, there are dedicated judges which are only dealing with arbitration matters. For example, appointment of arbitrator, you will go to court. Challenging an award, you will go to court. Filing an appeal, you'll go to court. Substitution of an arbitrator, you'll go to court. So it's like a cycle. And two wheels are there. One is litigation, one is arbitration. So if you're practicing as an arbitrator, you're also ultimately doing a lot of court. And it's a great way initially for independent lawyers to build their arbitrator profile, because in the initial years, you'll not have a lot of work. So you'll focus on arbitration also.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Karthik. And there are some other hands also. I think one of them can unmute.
Hello, good evening, sir. My name is Darshana Vora. I am a final year student from Ramaya College of Law, Bangalore. So my question is pertaining to the fact I have done internships, which are like civil litigation internships and criminal at times, but I don't have anything in my CV which is inclined towards arbitration. So let's say if I want to start with it, like it's a very first step if how I want to start. So like how do I go ahead? Like whom do I choose? Should I choose a firm or should I go with an advocate itself? Because right now where I'm working, they're not practicing arbitration per se. So
Okay.
I just wanted to know like how to begin with.
Thank you, Darshana. The answer is simple. Like this is exactly what was the case with me. I never had an internship in arbitration. My CV never had anything. In fact, I never studied arbitration as a subject in college. But ultimately, as long as you are sincere, see today, if you show someone your CV and you are looking like somebody who's in the top 5% of the class, written a lot of research papers, and diverse internships are there, you've worked with some good names, and that will add 5 stars to your CV. Like you have a Siddharth Luthra, Abhishek Singhvi, Amar Chand, these kind of internships if you have. Ultimately, the person will know, okay, this person is somebody who's sensible and who understands law. I think the basic understanding of law is what everybody is looking for. The other thing is that when you choose a senior, you only have to see who I will be working for. If that person is willing to teach you and is doing arbitration, it's not that, they have to be full-time into arbitration. Somebody who's also doing one arbitration and a little bit of other work. If you work on one arbitration, you will learn the whole journey of an arbitration case. So it's not that you have to work on 100 arbitration, but one simple way of seeing a lot of arbitration is working with an arbitral institution. For example, my colleagues at IAMC Hyderabad, my juniors who are working with me, they are dealing only with arbitration cases. So maybe you can consider 1 year working, for an institution because they have a lot of arbitration. You will see the whole journey of an arbitration. The other thing of doing it is maybe working with a senior lawyer who is sitting as an arbitrator, or maybe working with an arbitrator who's doing arbitrations day and night. So there are many other options. Don't restrict yourself to a lawyer and a law firm. Institutions are there, senior advocates, retired arbitrators, retired judges, not arbitrators, who are doing arbitrations full time. I think that's a great way to work and learn arbitration.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Hello, sir, can I go
Hello,
next?
sir.
Yeah, hi. Any one of you can go. Pujita and...
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Can
sure.
I go?
Sure.
Thank you, sir. And actually, I'm presently pursuing my master's in ADR only, and I'm thankful for this opportunity. And my dissertation topic also relates to RERA and ADR, like arbitration in particular. And the main thing which I like, I'm also from Hyderabad, sir. So
Nice.
coming from that background, like I've seen RERA, RERA is now budding in Hyderabad. It's very new, but not as prominently as Maharashtra and other place.
UP.
So my question, yeah, yes, sir. So my question is, even ADR is also not so this in Hyderabad. So what is the future of like RERA and ADR in Hyderabad in particular? Like when I tried to, like I did my 2 months internship near an arbitration, but what it was particularly for the banking contract clauses, which is we mostly see in civil courts, but not as like finding an institution for arbitration and mediation is very, like I felt it is very hard and very new in Hyderabad. So can you correct me, sir?
Yeah, Pujita, that's a very pertinent question. See, like I said, I don't know if you know, but because in Hyderabad we have IAMC, which is India's, you have seen the infrastructure.
Yes, sir.
Something like IMC is present in Hyderabad. So it's wrong to say that Hyderabad has no arbitration and mediation. In fact, you'd be surprised that today we did 2 big arbitrations, and these are, going into millions of dollars. So these are all happening in Hyderabad. Maybe you're not looking at the right place. There are law firms which are doing arbitration, quite a lot of them. CV Law Chambers, Desai and Company, Tatva Legal, Fox Mandal. I'm just naming it to make your life easier. So they have a lot of arbitration, Samvad partners. So, but otherwise also, the kind of investment which is coming in the state, and every contract is entering into arbitration. So these are the upcoming hubs of arbitration. By the time you will grow, you'll have to look at a 5-year plan. 5 years from now, when you will be doing decent in your career and you'll come out of your legal cradle, this will be an upcoming booming market and there'll be a lot of demand. Places like Delhi and Bombay are already saturated. They have seen it and there's so much competition. To cut and make it, it's not easy. So why do you want to really look at jurisdictions which are on their peak? Rather focus on jurisdictions where the market is upcoming and you'll be able to easily crack in, no competition, untapped market. But patience is important, of course, and you're not finding at the right place. That's all I can say.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Pujita. Yeah, now
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sir, may I ask a question? That yes,
Go
sir.
ahead.
So you have earlier mentioned that one can be enrolled in High Court or Supreme Court as an arbitration counsel or an professional arbitrator. So how it can be done? Any qualification also?
So there are no qualifications as such to be an arbitrator. You are practicing before the court every day. See, courts are also appointing people who have some visibility in court. So if you are doing courses or trainings of becoming a good arbitration lawyer, like CIRB is offering courses and many others are. So if you have that kind of accreditation with you, plus if you are appearing every day in court or every alternate day doing arbitration matters, court sees you appearing in arbitration disputes, arguing, and that will happen after 5-7 years of your career. To be honest, nobody's going to make you an arbitrator in the first 2-3 years because you are deciding a case and judgment writing is not easy, right? So once you have spent like 5 years, 8 years, like Delhi High Court, I think is following the criteria of 8 to 10 years of practice. Once that is there, I think they'll be happy to appoint you as arbitrator. And in the meantime, what you can do is you can do these accreditations and trainings of becoming arbitrator, which will build your profile. So start writing on arbitration topics so that people get to know this person does arbitration. I think these are a couple of things you can look at to make your profile as an arbitrator.
All right, sir. So can High Court impanel a few advocates as their arbitration counsel as well?
Of course. So arbitrators are impaneled by the High Court in the Arbitration Centre, like DIAC in Delhi. But there's a form, there's a criteria you have to apply. They ask you many questions, judgments, where you have appeared, how many cases you have handled, what is your prior experience, all that has to be filled. Then they decide whether they will be choosing you as an arbitrator or not for their panel. I hope I have answered the question. Yes, I have.
Hello, sir. Can I go next?
Yeah, of course, please.
So my name is Yash and I'm from ILS Law College and I'm in my second year. So as you talked about how networking is very important in the field of arbitration as well. So I'm going to attend a conference on arbitration, which is going to be held in Mumbai on the 14th. And I wanted to know how can I make the most of this conference? I'll be meeting a lot of people. So how can I seize the most of this conference in terms of networking?
The idea is that when you are hearing people who will be speaking at the conference, it depends on you how you are able to initiate a conversation with them and then able to connect. Sometimes your knowledge of the person, you should know who are these people. You should do a preliminary background research, know about them, read their articles or some work. And when you initiate a discussion, they should feel that this person is somebody who can probably, help me in some way, assist me in my writings, or be a useful resource. And that will happen in the first conversation. It's easy. In 1 minute, they are able to understand, okay, this person is somebody who can help or not. That will depend on your maturity and your way of talking, your knowledge, and what you say in that 1 minute. If you are able to make a mark, I think there are going to be 100 people. Even if you find 1 or 2 relevant people, you're sorted. You don't need to have 100 contacts. Get their visiting cards, reach out to them professionally on email. Half of them may not respond, but there are people who will definitely, get into a discussion, see where you can explore. So that's what you have to see, with whom you are compatible, and some chemistry has to be there. And then you can take it forward.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Good evening, sir. This is Mahim from Amity University. So my question is, one of my friend he's starting a startup, and he asked me that what is the need of the arbitration? In the end, all the matters go to court only. So how would I just make him believe in the arbitration process?
Yeah, you can tell him that if he wants to go to court and file a case in the court, firstly, it may take 7 years, 10 years, 20 years to get a judgment. But in arbitration, it will just be in 1.5 year. At least the judgment you are getting in that much time, that is guaranteed. I think that itself is a great reason for him to go ahead with arbitration and not the court. And the second thing is, yes, it goes to the court ultimately, but the scope of interference is very, very low under 34. Unlike a civil court appeal, which, you can re-argue on merits. But in an arbitration, you can't argue the case on merits when you are challenging an award. So scope is extremely narrow for setting aside. So I think that's one reason why people should prefer arbitration, even if it goes to the court.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, sir. I am Arun Gupta, second year law student from Indian Institute of Management, Uttar. So I wanted to ask that in future, is there any scope that arbitration or ADR, other forms of ADR, could be included in our Indian criminal system?
That's a pertinent question. See, I have not seen the future, but the way in which we are going, I think it's unlikely. I think, considering the Indian system in mind and how old the legislation is and how the approach is, in criminal matters, I don't think it will ever be there. But yes, there are some disputes which are of criminal nature or semi-criminal, like 138, etc., or where cheating is involved, 420, relating to property. Unlike the hardcore offenses like rape and murder, I think in those cases, yes, mediation also will play an important role, and arbitration certainly can happen, and disputes can be resolved. That is something I think will happen. Fraud, for example, you read judgments. Fraud, there was a lot of discussion whether fraud is arbitrable or not, because it is in criminal nature. You file a complaint, but courts have time and again said it is arbitrable. You can't stop arbitration merely because there are allegations of fraud. Arbitrator can look into these allegations.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Aryan. Do we have any more questions? Niharika?
I do not think so, sir. Thank you so much for being patient. Okay, I think we have.
There is a question, but I can't hear you. Some gentleman was asking something, but you can type the question.
Just one more question. Hello?
Yeah, hi. Now I can hear you.
Am I audible now?
Yeah, better.
Your voice is lagging. You can try typing it out on the chat box and I can read it out.
Yeah.
Do we have any other questions?
Yes, can I go in the meantime?
Yes, please.
So I have missed half the session and I'm extremely sorry for that. So if you've already covered this, please let me know. It's a basic question and again, maybe repetitive. I wanted to understand if somebody wants to switch from a company to a law firm or work with a lawyer. And I have a couple of internships in arbitration and most of my CV is taxation based. So I've worked in GST advisory, income tax, customs, and I have a little bit of arbitration. But right now my work is not arbitration related. And if I want to switch, does showing courses, extra courses, and justifying it somehow works? But that's a further step. If I can justify it in an interview, how do I, cross the first barrier where I can show that I am eligible for this, or any openings that are there in disputes?
Yeah. Thank you, Akshara. See, I think it completely depends on how you negotiate. If I were you, maybe I would have said that, look, you're an in-house counsel, right?
So I work with Tata AIG and I handle the litigation, but it's still not an in-house legal position.
I appreciate
So I work with the commercial business teams. So I handle.
How you make it look like is what matters.
Right.
Maybe you can, tell them that, look, I have the knowledge of GST, etc., etc. I'll be an asset to you. And the fact that I have connects and I've worked in companies, I know the approach of your prospective clients. So, I'll be adding advantage because ultimately firms are looking for people who are having some idea of working in companies. And the fact that you were in the litigation team of a company, Tata AIG, it's a reputed name. I think you can use it to your advantage. And they'll be more than happy to have someone like you in the team who will be able to bridge the gap between the firm and the, prospective clients, because ultimately that's what they need, right? So it completely depends. And knowledge, obviously, arbitration is not something which, you know, you need to really show quite a lot. As long as you have the understanding of the Contract Act and you've worked in litigation, that experience definitely counts. The only difference would be that maybe, they may treat you as a fresher, or you may not get the salary that you may be expecting. But I think if you start initially at a lesser pay scale, then you can easily pick up quickly. That ultimately arbitration is like not that technical that you really have to worry. It's all the hard work and the efforts that you're willing to put and your knowledge of contract, which is more relevant.
Thank you. Just one more small thing. How can I justify tax to my advantage? Like I have months and months of tax internships. I've done GST advisory for almost 7-8 months, and I've done income tax litigation. I've done good internships in income tax litigation. So how well that can I use to my advantage?
I'll tell you, when I was a partner of a firm, I used to hire people. And when I saw that somebody had the background of tax, because nobody in our firm was having tax, and we used to get sometimes matters of tax in corporate. So anybody who knew corporate or was a CA or a CS or a tax consultant, we started picking up work for that because of that reason, because this person would be an added advantage. Nobody else in the firm knew all that. So as long as somebody like you is there in the team, you can tell them that, look, you can start getting this kind of work also. And especially with so much is happening now, the kind of work, DGGI is doing so much of work, and there is so much of demand of GST. So I think somebody like you would be an asset to any firm. And somebody who's doing arbitration and also tax and is a miscellaneous lawyer, they will be more than happy to keep you. Don't say that I'm just willing to do arbitration. Say that I would also like to do with tax. And there are some arbitration matters like financial frauds are involved, and corporate, some white collar, where there are angles and issues regarding figures. Tax issues are also there in arbitration. I think in those kind of cases, you can definitely play an important role.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Akshara.
Okay, so we can take one last question. Hamza, do you want to ask the question?
Yes, thank you so much. Sir, I may be wrong in my facts. I thought, I guess you have left Adani. So I just wanted to know, what were you looking for, planning in your career that, I think you became a partner, but then you left it. So I was just curious to understand what are you aiming towards?
See, I think it's very important to step out of your comfort zone. That's what I had in mind, because I became a partner. Ultimately, people really want to achieve more and more. But I think, being with an institution, there is a bigger role that I can play, because an arbitral institution, you can do quite a lot of things and make India a hub of arbitration, change the image of India, and, make it look like a jurisdiction which is doing a lot of positive work in terms of arbitration and mediation. And that's what we are trying to do. In 1 year, we have been able to achieve quite a lot. I don't want to brag about it here, but maybe you should see the work that IMC has done. And we have been able to train quite a lot of people, grow the arbitration culture and mediation culture in a complete state. And a lot of international work is happening, a lot of connects, which I never could have made as a partner of a firm. I am, traveling more than ever, knowing people internationally. So I think it's a very, very big responsibility. And I think the administrative side of it makes me learn more than I would have learned as a partner. So that was the reason I thought I should do this for a while. But you never know, I'll be maybe going back to practice after I'm done with this responsibility.
Thank you for answering, sir.
Thanks, Hamza.
So can I ask one last question? The person is unable to unmute himself.
Of course.
And then we can. Right.
Please go ahead.
How is practicing arbitration in India different from that of foreign nations? So, for example, like Singapore is a hub for arbitration. So, how do people find such other places for better exposure?
See, I have a lot of friends in other jurisdictions like New York, Paris, Geneva, Singapore, South Korea, Dubai. I think all these people, of course, money is one thing. They get paid quite a lot. So that's a great difference. But in quality of work also, I may say that, they work on bigger matters, like an arbitration in Dubai would be into billions of dollars, and India may not see that kind of, every person may not get to work on those kind of matters. Plus the people you work with, most of them are international, arbitrators from across the globe coming. India, you will see usually if you are practicing in India, arbitrators would be judges, etc. But there it's very different, I mean, quality-wise, I think it may be better, but now India is doing a great job. And Indian firms are also paying quite a lot. So it's unfair to say that, Indians are not making a lot of money in India. They're making a lot of money. But my suggestion to you would be, if you're interested, yes, have an experience outside if you get a chance, and that you can get once you have done your master's from there, or you have cleared your bar exam of a foreign country. It gets easier to get into a foreign firm. With an Indian degree, I highly doubt you will make it to a good firm internationally. So you need to have a foreign degree or a bar exam, like a SQE or a New York bar exam has to be cleared to get entry into the foreign market. And people see, ultimately, it depends on what you want, because people who are outside, my friends who are doing great, when I ask them, they want to come to India, and people in India want to go out and work. So at the end of the day, it's more important is work satisfaction, I believe. So I think that's what one should look for.
Right. So, sir, what would be one last advice for the audience?
One last advice for the audience. Okay. Somebody has written about my book. So I've ordered your, okay. I think, sorry, it's a personal message. Thank you, Ritik. Thank you very much. I'm so grateful. He's just saying that he has, ordered my book. So I'm quite excited to see that. Thank you. So, yeah, I mean, last advice to you would be that, I mean, competition has increased quite a lot. And, I'm sure most of you would be stressed thinking what we'll be doing in our life. But law is a great profession. It's very rewarding, but only if you're willing to work hard. And the only secret is hard work, hard work, hard work. I'll say it 3 times, because to make it clear that there is no other way you can make it, no matter who you know, because networking does play a very important role, but ultimately it's your own merit which will take you places. And writing is extremely crucial. Start writing, develop the habit of writing. And more importantly, have a mentor in life. I think mentor will play a great role in your life. Apart from that, ultimately don't forget to live. Don't let others define what success is, what you should be doing. Don't do things just to please others. And, most of us are suffering from imposter syndrome. We feel that, oh my God, LinkedIn, this person is achieving so much, this person. Don't look at others. If you want to be happy, just do what you want to do and be sorted, and, you should be happy. So my suggestion is that compare yourself with yourself every year. Like, I have to be at a better place where I was yesterday, where I am now, and follow your heart, no matter where it takes you, because, when you follow your heart, you'll be happy always, and it will take you to great places. But do not underestimate that, a value of chance in your life. So you understand that your success is not completely deserved, and failure of others is not completely deserved either. So believe in destiny and let destiny make plans for you, but you follow your heart and just listen to your heart. Don't listen to people. That's all.
Thank you, sir. That was literally the only thing I believe everyone is trying to hear. And thank you so much for sparing out time when the weekend is full swing upon us. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And I'm very sure that it will immensely benefit everyone. And we'll be putting out this session for your reference on YouTube as well. So it will keep benefiting a lot of people. So thank you again, sir. Thank you so much for joining. And thank you, everyone, for joining. Have a wonderful weekend ahead. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Niharika. And thank you all for being part of this event. I hope to be in touch. Thank you. Thank you once again.